everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. Finally got Linzi back on. It's took friggin' months, but we pinned her down. I know a lot of people like to pin her down and give her a few punches in the face, but not us. We love her and we're right behind her. Before we get into bringing her in, we'll do the usual stuff and get it out of the way with. Welcome to Through Black and White Eyes special with focus on Linzi's experience in recent times. Hear the truth about what happened to her and what the future holds exactly. Please like and share, subscribe, support the channel. It's free, but you can join from 99p, donating using the super chat bottom right hand corner. All profits donated to charity. This month is going to be donated to John Gibson's charity that he emailed me about, and I forgot what it was called. I think it was Alzheimer's or something like that. There you go. You see, I forgot already. So next month on the 25th, we'll be donating some money to his charity for the great show that he did with us last night. If you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it after this show because it was fantastic. It's probably the best one-on-one show I've done until tonight. Please adhere to community guidelines, keep comments respectful, and enjoy the show. Choppy says hello, everyone. Les says hello. Ches and Gary are in the house as well. Lovely stuff, Les. And they're all talking to each other as they always do. Ian's in the house as well. Yeah, that's the one. Hi, Baz, Ches, and Gary. And Ray is also in the house as well. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all well. We are. We're brilliant. We're loving life. Got the kids to bed. Everything is now sorted. And let's bring Linzi in. Linzi!
It's been a while, eh?
It has been a while. I've been watching you on Twitter today, having arguments with everyone, as always.
Oh, well, you know me. It's how I thrive. Always upsetting someone, aren't I?
You are. But yeah, let's not go there. Not yet. There's lots to talk about, isn't there? So
yeah,
we're going to kick it off. First of all, asking how you are.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm quite tired. I'm not gonna lie. I've had another interview I've done today. I had to do down on the seafront and everything. So
nice.
That was quite intense. So and then I went to the pub and had a pint afterwards because it was
beautiful day today.
I love the pub. So
yeah, it was a beautiful day as well.
It was honestly. Sun was shining, man. It was lush.
Right, take us back to the start. What happened? How are we in this situation? I know, but just in case there's anyone who's watching who doesn't know what's going on, we've got to go back to the start. Otherwise, the end of it will sound really ridiculous because we don't know what happened at the start.
Yeah. Wow. So what was it? It was beginning of November 2023 now. It'll be a couple of years ago now. I was checking to see when the ballot for the Chelsea game would open, and I was faced with an email from security complaints that said it come to their attention I was under investigation with Northumbria Police for a hate crime. And my membership had been suspended, at which point I'm a little bit like, it's a bit weird. Surely if I was under investigation for such a serious offence, I'd know a little bit before a football club knows. And I would have found out through, I would like to think through the police, not through the football club. But yeah, so I spent a week of back and forth, me speaking directly with the police and then going back to the football club. Being told by the police, no, you're not. Being told by the club, yes, you are. Before eventually getting home one day to a slip through my door and being invited in for an interview under caution. So yeah, that was pretty much when it all began.
Ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, so you went into the station. No commented all the way through it. I've seen all the notes. I've heard the interview. You were told to do that. But again, you should never have been called in under caution, should you?
No, not at all. I mean, I was questioned. I remember because I went in and I secretly recorded the whole thing, which is how, because I'd gotten in contact with Harry Miller of Fair Cop.
Yeah.
And it was through a lot of his advice that I managed to do what I did. And I knew if I went in for the interview that I wouldn't be able to relay the questions that I was asked, because I was so stressed. So I decided I remember I went in with my phone and I set my phone to record and I took my hat off, hid my phone under my hat on the desk in the interview room and I'd pressed record and I recorded the whole interview. And as soon as I got out of the police station, I sent it on to Harry Miller, who transcribed it. And that was the first time it all went pretty viral, to be honest with you, when he transcribed the whole thing. And I was asked questions like, do you have a lawful excuse for having hashtag LGB in your bio, for saying things like, you know, trans women are men, which is just a biological truth. I was asked, you know, do I have a lawful reason for doing that? Do I even have a lawful reason for using the platform as a whole? I was asked questions like that, you know. It was all quite bizarre and very surreal.
So all these millions and millions and billions, but millions and millions and millions of people who use X have to have a lawful reason to use X.
Apparently, unless it's just me. Maybe if you're a gender critical lesbian who won't accept men into your spaces, then maybe you do need to have a lawful reason for saying and doing these things. Who knows? But it turns out I did.
I wonder if it's in the T's and C's. I mean, no one ever reads the T's and C's, do they? Let's face it. I mean, they're like they're long as your arm on there in small print.
Yeah.
So no one ever reads that sort of stuff. But that would be interesting to know if that's an actual.
Well, it's actually something we've discovered through all of this is Newcastle United's terms and conditions. Because obviously they want to foster a healthy environment for everybody, which is fine. You know, I think that's what anybody would want. But they go beyond the scope of the law, where they actually expect you to adhere to their rules, not just in the stadium, but in your everyday life and in everything that you say and everything that you do. Which is part of the legal challenge that we're going to be taking them to court over is the fact that, you know, yes, you can foster those kind of environments, but you don't have the right to dictate what people say and do in their own personal hemisphere, in their own personal life. Like, you might not like what some people are saying and doing, but just because they're not, you know, speaking the kind of language that you personally want, you know, especially if it is just thoughts and opinions that isn't aimed at anybody, then you don't have a say, really. But it turns out that they seem to think that they're allowed to dictate what we say and do. Like, if you read the terms and conditions, this is why they think that they've been allowed to do what they do to me, is because they've got it written as if we have to adhere to their rules every single day, no matter what we're doing, whether you're speaking on Twitter, whether you're just speaking among friends, whether you're speaking in a fan forum. You know, if someone sees something that they don't like that you're saying, the club could ban you for it, you know, whether you're in the stadium or not.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
That is a dictatorship.
It's mental. They haven't got a right.
Sign on Twitter right now, including myself, should be banned. Everyone should be banned.
There's a good few people that you see online that you see going to the match days and you think, there's gonna come a day, you know, and it's all well and good laughing at me, but until it gets turned on you, I don't think you'd quite realise just how sinister the whole thing is, to be honest with you. You know, today it's me. But you know, tomorrow it genuinely could be you, just for saying something that someone connected to the club doesn't like. So they've decided, right, I don't want you in the stadium anymore, so off you go.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It could be slagging off players. It could be, you know, they could literally ban you for anything by the sounds of it. And if that's the case, then literally all the Twitter, every Newcastle fan, they should know at some point. So everyone should be banned, really.
It's a very dangerous precedent that they're setting.
It is.
But then it comes down to, you know, what they're willing to enact it on. Do you know what I mean? So.
True, so I like to ban many on X Baz, but that's a whole other matter. So block it is. Yeah, but what all I'm saying, Jules, is that technically I've said some things that probably, you know, I've called people a cunt. You know, again, they don't like that. They could then ban me, couldn't they? Because it's foul language, it's aggressive in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know, that is very, very dangerous. So they shouldn't really be allowed. I mean, a lot of people that hate the word, they use the word nonce, and the kind of generalized a horrible thing, and they call like other fans that because they don't like their opinion. Surely they should be banned, because that is like the worst of the worst, calling someone that, in my opinion. I think it's one of the worst words in the, you know.
Yeah, you can say it in a bantery sense. Yeah, you can say it in a bantery sense, like we did with Steve, you know, when he's sitting there passing out the stupid in the know things, you know. And
I have told Steve many times to stop using that word, and he knows it as well. He'll
That's
tell
why
you
I called him it yesterday, because I know he loves to use that word. So I thought, right, I'm going to give it back to you.
Oh, Leslie's going to have a go at me now. I didn't want to use the word, but I had to say something that, you know, technically anyone doing shows like this could be banned as well when you think about it, because we're discussing what we believe is wrong with inside our football club. You know, as much as I love Newcastle, as much as you love Newcastle, even if this hadn't happened to you and it happened to somebody else, we would still be disappointed in our football club.
I'd still be just as disgusted regardless, you know, because whether I agree with what people say or not, you know, when it comes to gender ideology, I do not agree with a hell of a lot of what people say around it all. But I do also respect their right to say it. Like, if it's something I don't want to see in my timeline, then I'll just block it out of it. You know, I'm not going to go out my way to try and ruin someone's life. Because I don't like what they're saying. I'm just going to sit and be like, well, that's just not something I want in my environment. Like, you've got your right to say it, crack on. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But you know, I'll just get rid of you, so I don't need to see it. Like, it's really that simple. You don't have to sit and melt your mind with people that you don't like. Just block and move on, man. It's quite a simple task. Don't block and then stalk them from other accounts as well, because that's just sad.
The amount of people who do that are crazy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, that's the example I should have used. The amount of times I've told a Mackem that they've either shagged their sister or shagged a seagull.
Yeah.
That's probably the example I should have used rather than calling someone a C word, because technically the club could ban me for that, because it's horrible banter in a way, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's true, though, because he did actually do it in the paper.
With the seagulls.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the sister sort of stuff, that's just banter from years and years of what they used to do when they were in the 60s and 70s and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't mean it was true, but it's horrible banter, and that could be a reason for a football club to ban someone.
I just think people need to leave it alone. Like, banter's banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, people say some god awful stuff to me, and while some of it I do, you know, especially the worst of it will be kept, and it's sent to the people that it needs to be sent to. It's not sent for any other reason than to be used as evidence, you know, for the sheer state of the way people go on. But everyone's threshold for offence is different. I've got a very thick skin, so people could get away with saying quite a lot to me, to be honest with you, Baz, you know. But I think we just need to get past a point now where people are trying to destroy other people's lives just because you don't like something someone said, and especially trying to demonize someone as something that they're not, just because, again, they've got views that differ from your own. Like, have a conversation with the person, or just block them and move on. Like, it really is that simple. And if it's someone, because not everyone's going to get along, so if it's not someone you're going to get along with, fine, just leave it at that. You know, move on. It's not difficult.
It's not, but it is for a lot, though, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Yes, it appears so. It appears there's a generation below us that just don't see, A, can't hold a conversation or a debate, B, can't see their own hypocrisy, and C, just love to hurl abuse. So crack on, lads.
I mean, one of the funny ones I remember when this all started kicking off was the one where someone was saying that they were comparing you to Hitler.
They're still doing it, you know. They're still doing it, yeah. There's someone
brilliant. And the actual funny photo of it as well, it was actually your mate who said, I dare you to tweet this out.
It was, yeah. And I think I've said it so many times. Like, my best mate, Les, was there when it all happened. You know, because we sit and laugh about it. And people will sit there. And the thing is, whenever something goes in the media, like the last one was obviously me getting the recognition from the police that they never should have done what they did to me. Like, there was no crime, there was no victim, which, you know, is something I've been waiting a long time for. And they started it again. It was, oh, she compared herself to Hitler. And it was, oh, for crying out loud. Like, have you run out of tweets to recycle of me now that you're just going back to the very beginning? It's like they've run out now. There seems to be a cycle of it, you know? So it seems they've run out now. So they're going to start right at the beginning. And they're probably going to go back through go back through them all again. So I'm anticipating some oldies but goldies coming back out. So get some of the greatest hits.
And let's face it, we only know Hitler because he is famous.
Right, he is. I mean, people won't shut up about him or his party, will they, at the minute?
Exactly.
So, you know, they're all pretty obsessed with him at the moment. But It's mental, mate, honestly. It's
Oh
so
man,
funny.
it
It
is.
was my mate, it was my mate JB. I was like, what shall I say? And he just went, say this. And I went, right. And obviously I was a few pints deep as well. I think it was a Friday night. So I was like,
It
oh,
was, yeah,
that'll be
it
funny.
was.
You know, so, and everyone knows I get pissed on a Friday night, man. Like, it's, if there's ever
Exactly.
going to be anything stupid comes out my mouth, it's going to be on a Friday night.
I love it. I love it. So why it happened? So obviously there was it was quite new, wasn't it, when Newcastle brought out the fan advisory board and all that sort of stuff, wasn't it? And there was a certain person who got
Mm.
elected to the board who decided he was the one who made the complaint, wasn't he?
Yeah, we
One,
both know
one
who it
person,
was.
one person made the
One
complaint.
individual, and it's great because you're the one who actually drew him to my attention because I'd never
Mm,
even heard of him or seen him before, and you were like, by the way, this person's got an awful lot to say about you.
yeah,
And that was the first time I seen him, and obviously my account was locked down, and we both know who we're talking about. And when my account was locked down, he requested to follow me about 6 or 7 times,
really.
and I kept denying it. Yeah, and in the end, I think I left him in there for about a week before I denied it again. And I wish I'd taken screenshots of every time, to be honest with you, just to prove the level of crazy obsession on
Yeah.
on his part. But I do know it was him because obviously I found he was stupid enough to leave his thumbnail in one of the screenshots that he sent into the police. So I seen
Oh,
his profile picture. I was like, got you,
got
got
you.
you, you sneaky bugger, got you.
Yeah, we had an inkling
So
who it was quite
we
early
did.
on,
We
didn't
had a very good idea who it was, but it's getting that proof.
we?
And obviously the club have done everything they can to that I still haven't had full disclosure. So they've
Yeah.
done everything they can to obviously try and protect them.
Yeah.
And I know I'm bang on the money because when I put that tweet out about saying, if you're going to stalk and harass a woman because you don't like her views, probably best you don't leave your profile picture in one of the screenshots that you've sent into the police. And then I think I put like suckers all on them lines. And by the Monday morning, this is the first time Newcastle United had gone out the way to contact me. And by the Monday morning, I'd had an email off the lawyers of the
Wow.
club saying that was sent in error. Delete that and use this new this new redacted version. And my
No.
my lawyers replied pretty much, we have nothing further to add. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh no, 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 no. So it was their mistake, but
Exactly.
I know who it was. And I know it was him as well, because when I posted that and I obviously got the message from the club, he went and changed his profile picture as well, as if that's going to change anything.
Exactly. It's far too late. I
Yeah,
love
it
it. And
is. But
doesn't Twitter always send a tweet out when you actually change your profile picture as well? So they have to go through
yeah,
and
like
go
hashtag new
all
profile
the
pic
way
or
back
whatever.
down, yeah, to delete
Yeah.
everything. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, but
Uh,
he did. He went and he changed his profile picture as well. But
mm,
and I'm not petty. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to sit and name and shame him.
no.
But it does make me giggle a little bit knowing that I got his backside going like that a little bit because I
Yeah.
found out
Well,
who he
then
was.
he ended up having to step down, didn't he? So he basically ruined his best opportunity he's ever been given to.
Well, I think that's the case, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure. It looks like it could be the case, but at the same time, he still seems to think he's does what he does. So,
Uh,
but it just, well, all I know is I know for sure that the person who did this to me is connected to the club. They have,
mm,
contacts in the club. They have contacts within the police force, and that's how it got to the degree it did. They did everything they could, all because I remember in one of the complaints, the first complaints he'd written, she has hashtag LGB in her bio, which is a trans exclusionary radical group. And it's like, it's literally my sexuality, mate. Like, what is your issue?
yeah.
I'm a lesbian woman. Like,
This is what I mean
what's
about
your
when people
problem?
put things out on Twitter. You read something, someone then thinks it like you could be in a bad mood when you read something and you read it the wrong way and you think that's
Yeah.
how it's saying it. I remember someone, I'm not going to name names, but I put a laughing emoji on someone's tweet because it was funny. Right? Someone else put the exact same emoji on it. He reacted completely different to me to what the other person, even though we put the exact same emoji and that was it.
Yeah.
Because it was funny. And he put on me saying, "Why are you laughing at me?" But then to the other person, he put fist pump. Yeah, brilliant, isn't it? It's just like, well,
Yeah, but I
All
also
it,
think a bit of it's
no,
just
no, no.
because of who we are, basically.
Yeah,
Someone
exactly.
doesn't like women, doesn't, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters what we say. We could turn around and go, "Oh, isn't the sky nice and blue today?" And someone would still try and link it to me being some sort of a bigot. So,
What you trying to say? The weather's not good today. What?
yeah, isn't the sky blue? You
Yeah,
racist!
yeah. I love it. I love it. Uh, Peter Griffin. Saw you on the news channel. Absolutely disgraceful what happened to you. Are you still banned from the stadium? I love my beloved Newcastle United, but not happy with the club at all about this. Yes, you are still banned. I believe the
Yeah.
ban runs out at the end of the season. You can go back next season. Right?
2026 season, I think, actually, yeah. So
What?
it's, yeah,
You added.
I think it's next year. Next year,
Right.
I'm allowed back in. So beginning of the 2026 season is when I'll be allowed back in. Right, blue
Yeah, wrong,
sky.
wrong kind of blue sky. It's the wrong blue.
The wrong blue, you bigot. Right.
It's a dark blue, not a light blue.
Yeah.
Why are you
Right,
saying
that's
things
it.
like that?
Prison. Get her to prison. Call the police. Prison.
Oh man. So you got the club. You had the police interviews. We had you on when we did all that. So if you haven't watched that show, you can go back and watch it in more detail and understand exactly what was going on. Especially with Fair Cop, he was brilliant.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Harry.
yeah, it was a
Class.
while ago now, wasn't it?
He's so funny. Makes me laugh. He
Mm,
does.
he's so knowledgeable. He just puts
Yeah.
people in loops, doesn't he? And it's brilliant. Amazing how you can get banned and blocked for having an opinion. Exactly. I went October 21st, 2005. We were getting ready for winter season. Well, I must have missed something there. Did you enjoy? Oh, there must have been somewhere. So they're talking to themselves. Oh, New York, New York. There we go. I'm getting lost in the notes. It always happens. It's very easy to confuse me. So we got a victory, which was absolutely amazing. The police have finally apologised
Yeah.
because it was
Took
a
their time.
wrongful yeah. But what was the relief like when you finally got that apology?
Oh, I think there's a mixture in there, Baz, you see, because obviously when the article itself came out, I'd already known about this report for a good couple of weeks. I'd had a couple of
Yeah,
weeks to read through it and really get my head around it all. And there's a mixture of everything really. Like there's the vindication in a sense, even though like you've still got people that are sitting there saying that I committed a crime, and it's like literally got it in black and white from the police. So she's been targeting people. I think I had someone last week saying I was threatening people and everything, and I'm
that's
just like,
brilliant.
but so getting that saying, there was no victim, like no victim, no crime, no problem, like it should never have been crimed. It actually said in the report that it didn't even meet the threshold for a non-crime hate incident because there was literally nothing was aimed at anyone, and they'd seen
Yeah.
everything, like everything. Um,
Well, they had to go through
so
every
yeah,
single
they
tweet you
did,
tweeted out, wouldn't they?
yeah,
And
yeah.
messages.
But it's the fact that the failures, I think, from the police and the amount of resources that were wasted on it. So because this little individual used his connections in the club and went to activist type of police officers, all in all, there was 14 police officers that oversaw investigating me. 14, ranging from PC level all the way up to CID. Like
Jesus.
that's how mental it went to, and not a single. You even had
Wait a
police
minute. Wait a
officers.
minute. 14.
14.
Right. I've just been watching the Bay and they're doing murder inquiries, and there's only about fucking 6 of them. We had 14 for a tweet.
you know. But 14 of them, and they literally, you even see police officers, you see them admitting that there's no victim, but they're like, oh, we'll just crime it anyway. Do you know? It's mental. Like it's the sheer amount of failures, and what they're trying to say is that they're going to do training to make sure this doesn't happen again. And if it had just been like 1 or 2 police officers, maybe it's like something I could maybe accept. But when it's 14 police officers ranging from every level up to CID, you can't help but realize that it's nothing but a systematic thing within the police force. Because and this is one of the scariest truths about it, is had I decided to report a crime about things I was seeing people on the other side say that I found shocking and offensive, that I found, distressing. There is no way in hell that the same amount of energy would have been put into investigating them as was put into trying to shut me up and do what was done to me. So I think in throughout it all, with the help of Harry and everything that he's done, because it's him that's put all the hard work into getting this report from the police. I think we've exposed a systemic issue within the police force, like that they are ideologically captured, and they value that ideology over everything else. Like people with my views need to be silenced. We need to be frightened into not saying it anymore, and they've been allowed to get away with it for so long now, all these idiots online and everything like that they almost feel emboldened to do it, There's
a couple of things that pop into my head on this. The one is, you mentioned about, obviously, it's a victimless crime because there was no victim that you were aiming at, but all those people who are messaging you are a victim now.
Yeah.
So what's actually been done about that?
Oh, nothing, because that's, because I'm agenda critical, so I deserve it.
That's hypocrisy.
That's this is what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the same amount of energy is never put into the stuff I receive, as what was put into me pointing out the charity group Mermaids. In my opinion, they were grooming kids by handing them things like chest binders and things like that, and encouraging them to speak to them and not speak to their parents. Like, that for me is something that I feel is grooming. It makes me very uncomfortable, and it's something I'm going to call out. But me doing that to Mermaids, that warrants a police investigation. But someone, photoshopping my face onto a woman being hanged and getting direct death threats. That's okay, because, well, what do you expect when, I deserve it because I'm saying the things that I'm saying. It's the double standards and the hypocrisy of the whole thing. It's discriminatory.
That really shocks me. That the, what you said is a biological term, and whether people agree with it or don't agree with it, it's biologically correct. I had to fill in a medical form to get a doctor's appointment, and there's only two options on there: male or female.
Male, female, yeah.
Yeah. So it's because it's biologically correct. Now, I have no problem, and you're the same. If someone wants to live their life differently and want to be happy in their own skin, then
crack on.
Do it. Crack on.
Yeah, do it.
Do it. We're not bothered about that. But it's the simple fact is that you said something that is correct, and then you've got all this hate, and then when people hate on you, there's been nothing done about it.
Yeah.
You sent all the screenshots to the club as well, haven't you? Because I've sent you.
Oh, they've got everything. The club have got everything. The police have had everything as well. But the thing is, as well, Barry, I'm not the only woman that this is happening to. I'm not. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. I think just recently there's a Christian nurse who's just been removed of duties in the NHS because she refused to call a registered male sex offender she/her in the hospital when all of his medical files had male everything on it. He was a big man. She said herself, he's a big man, and then when she called him sir, he broke into a tirade of racial abuse against her. Really? And she wouldn't. Honestly, she's been on GB News and everything this week, and she wouldn't call him she/her. And he continued being racist, and nothing's happened to him, this registered sex offender who's decided he wants to make women lie about what they see before their eyes. However, this nurse who's given so many years of service to the NHS has had everything turned upside down, even though she was racially abused. And it's just this is the mental side of it. Yeah, it's like, for me, live as you want to live, do what you want to do, right? But the moment what you're doing starts encroaching on other people's rights and other people's lives, that's where you're going to get pushed back, unfortunately. If you want to believe and walk around and pretend you're a woman, that's up to you. That's your prerogative. But I'm not obliged to play along with your delusions. I choose to live in reality. And yeah, some of the things I've said, it might have been a bit clumsy in the past and a little bit bit hard to read in some circumstances, but those are lessons that I've learned over time. The last thing I thought when I was giving a bit of lip back to someone was that it was going to result in all of this.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn a lot of lessons given the eyes that are on me now, and I've had to
Mm.
learn how to navigate everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not anywhere near as brutal, I suppose, as what I used to be with the way I would word things, but I think that's only a good thing.
Yeah.
Because
I
I think
agree.
it just goes to show it doesn't matter how you say or what what you do and the way you say it. If someone wants to attack you, they're going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
Don't matter what you do. So just don't feed into it. Don't bite. Don't and that's what I'd done before. That's how I got myself in this mess, was biting. So now it's just like, don't bite. Don't give them any ammunition. Don't give them anything to go with. Just, if you want to abuse me, you go ahead, because you're just making yourself look like a dick.
Yeah. Someone had to ask a question like that, didn't they? Even I can't answer that, to be fair. Ian. Come on, mate. The one thing that really frustrates me is the people who are taking advantage of this. That's the one thing that like I said, I have no problems with. If someone feels they believe they're a woman trapped in a man's body, they want to live a woman's life, go through the transition, get it chopped off, do all that.
Hey, it takes commitment.
It does.
It
That
takes
is commitment.
commitment.
And that to me, that's not somebody who's ill or mentally ill. That's somebody who actually believes this is the best way they want to win them. We only get one life, so then that's how they want to live that life.
It is, but I think it's important to acknowledge as well, though, that gender dysphoria is a genuine mental disorder. I have friends who have transitioned, who've lived their lives. I've got a friend who lived 30 years as a female, now over 30 years as a male. It is a genuine mental disorder. It is distressing. It's hard to do. And all they want to do is walk through life and walk through life as anonymously and comfortable as possible. They just want to blend in with society. So all these people that are shouting and bawling and making a big deal out of everything, that for me, they're not true transsexuals, because if they were, they wouldn't be going on the way that they are. They wouldn't be shouting and bawling. They would literally just be living their life like all my other, every transsexual I know who I'm close with in my life. They just want to be left alone. They don't want the spotlight on them. They don't want anything like. They just want to be seen as what they're portraying on the outside, but they're also very much aware of who they are biologically on the inside, and that to me is a really important comparison to me. If you're respectful enough and you understand your medical condition, your medical disorder, but you also understand your biology, then I've got no issues with you at all.
It's the people who are taking advantage of it, the ones that who were, like you said, there's pedophiles out there who are doing it. There's
always going to be the bad faith people.
And they're the ones that shout about it the most, and they're the ones that get the spotlight put on it, and they're the ones who are ruining it for the genuine people who want to live their life how they want to live it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are, especially when it comes to the activists. I mean, some people are doing it because there's money in it, so they've just taken on the activist side because there's money in it and stuff like that. There are the odd, there is, like, it's not to say that it's all of them, but there are individuals who, I've lived and I've had predators target me when I was a child, So I know that these individuals, they will put on any sort of mask that they have to in order to get what they want and get where they want to be, So for me, in that sense, safeguarding is really important. And if we start removing those boundaries of single sex spaces and things like that, that's when it's going to start getting dangerous, because safeguarding is not in place. Single sex toilets and single sex changing rooms for females, they're not in place because every single man is going to be horrible. They're in place because it stops that small, minute percentage of men who will come in and take advantage. It stops. It's like risk assessments. You don't do a risk assessment because you think this thing's 100% going to happen. You do it on the minute chance that this thing could happen. And the same applies for safeguarding, and I think if we start stripping that away, Barry, we're in massive trouble. Women will be. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing the consequences of safeguarding being stripped, with males being put in women's prisons and things like that, and what's happening to women in these prisons. So you know, it's very nuanced. There's a lot to look at with it all, you know, and I think people just need to get a bit of sanity back and common sense when we're talking about it, instead of getting so hysterical, because God, it happens all the time.
I agree. The other one that I know this is going to trigger a lot of people, but I don't understand how a male can transition into a female, then be a lesbian.
Don't get me started. That is
I'm not going to get started, but that is like the most stupidest thing in my brain. The way my brain works, it's like, well,
no, you're a male who wants to walk the world as a woman, fine, but you're still a heterosexual male, you know.
Right.
No.
We'll leave that one though.
It really annoys me, that one.
Was Les banned as your best mate, or could he still go to games? So Les was not banned, but he decided not to go to games. Is that right?
Yeah, he's not been back. Yeah, neither of us have. I mean, we haven't even spent a penny on the club, to be honest with you. I haven't even bought any of the shirts or anything from this season. Like, there's not been a penny of my money has gone anywhere near that club. Not a penny of his money. Not a penny of any of my friends or family, if I'm honest with you. They've all kind of taken a stance of, no, it's not happening. You know, we all. I mean,
Les is a diehard fan as well, isn't he? I mean,
the two of us are as bad as each other.
Yes, absolutely. So I do feel,
even though I'm always telling him off.
Yeah. Les, stop doing that. Get your card out. Get to the bar. I love it.
Yeah. Have you lost it again? What did I tell you?
I told you to put it in that pocket. You were a member like me, weren't you? I was a season ticket holder, then got rid of it. But you were a member, and we got to a lot of games, didn't we? To be fair, in the early days. But then, obviously, you know, for some reason, 2 games.
Once the takeover, especially once the ballots and everything came in, it was always a bit of potluck, wasn't it?
It was. What about gay people bars? In what way? I'm confused by that question. I'm not going into that. Just well said, Lindsay. Put across.
Thank you, Mick.
If only you could get that close. I don't know what that's about. Right, so that was the relief of winning. Obviously, it's great that you've won one case, but we're still, unfortunately, not got an apology or recognition or anything from Newcastle United Club, have we? So what are the next steps? I know there's something happening, but obviously you only say so much, but what's in the pipeline that you're allowed to say?
Well, we've gotten everything registered with the court. It's been put on a multi-track case. Well, lesbians and gays. Do you know what the funny thing is about that? Is lesbians and gays notoriously haven't always really seen eye to eye.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
But all of this has actually, I've got more gay friends now than I have ever had in my life. Like, there is nothing that brings gays together like identity politics trying to appropriate our sexuality. Like,
love it.
It's mental how it's just brought us all together. And like, when we win this fight, we'll all probably go back to like hissing at each other from across the room. But for now, we're all just like, no, this is a fight we're all in together, you know. So let's do this thing. But no, yeah, it's been put onto a multi-track case thing. So basically, we're waiting for a court date. I think they've said that be about 3 or 4 days for trial. I can't quite remember, if I'm honest with you.
So they still believe they're in the right, and that's why we're going to court. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I think a big part of the reason they think that they're in the right is because of the way they've written their terms and conditions, where they think they seem to be allowed to dictate what we do and don't do within our own personal remit. Yeah, which is a big part of what we're challenging. You know, in the sense of, you know, it's like I said earlier, it's fine if you want to invoke an inclusive environment and everything like that. And if I'd been doing any of this within the football stadium and using it as a chance to air my political views, then fair enough, I'd probably understand, you know, well, I would definitely understand to a degree. But that's not the case. It was on my own social media, my own opinions,
wasn't even a
my
match
own
day.
Thoughts. No, it was just literally social media. They've admitted that I've never done anything in the ground or in the stadium.
Not even on a match day on X either, though. That's my next point.
No, that's the thing. Because when a match day is going on, that's what my focus is solely on is the match day itself. So I think a big part of what we're going to have to challenge is the way that they've gone beyond the scope of the law in the sense of what they're doing in the terms and conditions. Because this is what people, everyone needs to realize, like I said, is if you've got a season ticket, if you've got a membership, you've signed up to this. And all it takes is for one person to dislike something that you've said, and they can take it all away from you too, because they seem to think they have the right to dictate and watch what we're doing within our own personal lives and in our own personal time, which nobody has the right to do. We don't work for them. We're not employees of them. We are fans who go and spend our money and support the team. That doesn't mean that they've got a right to then sit and dictate what our beliefs would be or how we hold ourselves, or even the way that we speak and the way we put things across,
Crazy. It reminds me of obviously the Fez incident as well in Leon. But theirs was sort of on a match day, but it was in a pub, and it was before the game, I think it was, or was it after the game, and they were protecting a child and they got done for fighting. It's, the club seem to pick and choose when they want to have a battle, don't they? And they've obviously picked the wrong two people to pick on. Obviously, Les, you're fighting, they're still fighting. They've even got a court to say that they were unlawfully and wrongly accused, and even Newcastle is still holding them to a gun, basically saying you're not getting back into the ground. Which is funny because they go to all the away games, don't they? They can't stop them from doing that.
I know, but that's the funny thing, right? They were done for fighting and everything like that. I'm banned home and away, by the way.
Oh yeah,
home and away. I'm not even allowed to go watch them play away.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was just in James's Park.
No, I'm banned from watching them play home and away. Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I just laugh about it now, to be honest. I think it's, it's to a point now, Baz, where even though my band's up next year, will I go back to that stadium?
It'd be hard.
I will.
The anxiety would play a point in that. I mean, we both suffer from anxiety on different levels.
Yeah.
So if I'd gone through what you're going through and then won, I would actually be afraid to go back to the ground just because you don't know who's going to... I mean, you'll probably get a lot of congratulations, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people will be like on your side, but then you'll have the few that aren't, and then you don't know how they're going to react if they see you.
Yeah, I know though, my first game back will be, I have a friend who has a season ticket in the director's box. So my first game back is going to be in their hospitality and everything, because she's dead set determined to take me. So I do look forward to that, because I will do it, just so I can post pictures and watch the meltdown online. Because you know me.
You have to be nicely dressed, so you'll be away from all of the...
Yeah, well, that's it as well. I won't be in amongst everything else. I'll be out the way in hospitality and everything up in that area. So, awesome. I think I'd be all right doing that. And she's been so dead set on taking me for such a long time that I will do it. And it would just be really nice to watch all the meltdowns online, seeing me in the stadium enjoying hospitality.
This was a question I was going to get to, but Jules has jumped the gun on it, and I put it up. So, were you able to enjoy the cup final success? Obviously, you weren't allowed to apply for tickets, which is obviously one of everything's gone on. It's the worst possible time it could have happened. But were you able to still enjoy us winning our first trophy in 70 years?
Oh yeah, I think a big thing I've had to do with it all, Baz, I think I've said it many a time, is I've had to separate the team from the situation with the club as a whole. Because it's not the team that have done this. The team are out there. Eddie's out there doing his best job, and they're just trying to bring success to the club as a whole. So I think I've said I'd be lying if I said something hadn't been broken in amongst everything. And there was troubles within it, but when it come to the final, no, I got a really lovely seat in Whitley Bay. I sat in a pub and I watched it. I got absolutely mortal, and I was hungover until Wednesday.
Brilliant. I love it. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I had a hangover for days and days.
Would you risk going to an away game? Or would you just think that's because you got a case and you got a solid case?
It just wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it for me, to be honest with you. Because again, there'll be individuals going to them away games that know who I am, and I'm sure they'd jump at the opportunity to tell the club that they saw me in there and whatever else. So I just don't want to give them an excuse. I'm gonna, just gonna sit and keep biding my time and fighting this in the right way. I could have named and shamed that knobhead who did this to me. I could have done it a long time ago, but I'm not going to, because I intend to fight it in the right way. And at the end of the day, two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I mean? So when his time comes, and his time will come, then it'll be the right time. But for now, no, I'm just going to keep, there's that many people that have donated into my crowdfunder and invested the time and energy into me and things like that, that the last thing I want to do is let my emotions get the better of me and ruin it for everyone. So
I agree with that. It's a sensible take.
Yeah, I know. What's happened to me, Baz?
I know. I'm trying to think. That's far too sensible for Lindsay, that.
I know, but stupid things do crazy things to people.
Yeah, think of it this way. Why do you have moderators in chat? Because we have too many dickheads who try to
yeah, they're probably in the thing tonight, aren't they? They've probably all been sat there going,
I mean, there was one that tried to, but then obviously they dealt with them very quickly. So that was good of them. I just scrolled on past it all.
look at what I messaged you the other day, Baz. Like, we won't say it live on here, but that thing that I told you the other day when I messaged you what they were doing.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I'm not going to mention it here because again, that's something I'm biding my time with.
Yeah.
Mwaha.
With regards to the idiot who reported it, I think saying nothing is probably the best way to deal with them anyway, because then it'll make them feel so insignificant that when you win, it'll make it like everything is done.
Yeah.
What was the point?
Yeah. What was the point in it all? He's just all he's proven himself to be is a little starling. Like that's the way I look at them. They're all little starlings, trying to thought police, speech police people who if you want to be a trans rights activist, you go and be an activist in that sense. I choose to be a lesbian, gay, and bisexual activist. I choose to be an activist for women's single sex spaces and women's sports. That's what I choose to do. So I don't agree with your activism. You don't agree with mine, but let's just crack on.
I didn't actually know that. Thanks, Ian. I didn't actually know that. I just got moderators because people told me to get them. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Well, I don't really. I just did this for a bit of laugh and look where it's gone.
To be fair though, when you think about some of the stuff that could spam your chat with, because there are strict rules about words you can use and everything online, isn't there? On YouTube.
Yeah, true. The amount of porn I used to get in the chat.
Oh God!
Is
that like when you post on X and then you get 6 likes immediately and you look at it, it's all porn bots.
Yeah. Tons of it, man. Honestly. It used to be terrible, but it's now calmed down recently. But it's
been coming back slowly though. Like I think a couple of weeks ago it got a bit out of hand, but it seems to have calmed down again.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in my chat for a very long time. Thank God. I blocked loads of it, but they don't seem to be doing that these days, which is good. Yet there are plenty out there that get away with it. And yeah, exactly. Alan, this again, not worth talking about, is it? Obviously, that's all about what's happened, what's going to happen. Are you going to give us the court date? Because obviously, hopefully, I'm off and I'm able to come.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I know. So the last thing I really know is my lawyers wrote them a letter, obviously, informing them of the police's decision with the report. Sent them some snippets from that, but they also sent them some information from a court case that's just been won in an employment tribunal, where this woman was dismissed from a job for expressing views in a very similar way to the ones that I'd expressed. And the judge ruled in her favour. So, I think there's a few things for the club to mull over. I haven't heard from my lawyers because it tends to do that. Like it'll go crazy for a few weeks and then it'll go a bit quiet. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's them giving me a bit of downtime as well, because this isn't a battle I chose. Yeah, it can be, especially when I'm like still doing my 6 days a week at work and things like that. And then I'm at work and then I'm getting calls from lawyers, and it's not just like I've got this one case with Newcastle. I've got the case that I'm doing with the FA, and I've got judicial review I'm doing with the police as well. So it can get, I've got 3 cases on the go at the moment, and it can get a little bit overwhelming.
I can imagine when one gets a little bit then the next one does, and the next one does, and it's all like, whoa, it's all like on top of you very, very quickly.
It's not so bad when it's like just one of them. But like when the police one broke, I had the police report breaking, and I was doing all that work with Harry. But at the same time, I've got movement with the FA, and I'm getting stuff come through with me about the club as well. So when it gets like that, it can get a little bit overwhelming. But I just that's probably why I go quiet, you know. You'll even see that I don't even really post on Twitter for a few days properly, you know. It might be the odd repost, but you don't see me winding anyone up. And it's just because my brain is just so done in from all the legal work. I don't think I have any energy left to be a shithouse. So
that's a lot of reading of you being a shithouse and then being a shithouse to you. And then it kind of gets on top of you. Then it's like, you've exhausted all your energy. Time for bed.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, I just turn my PlayStation on, you know. There are days when I just sit there, I'm like, right, I've had enough of everything, and I turn my PlayStation on, and that's it. Headset on. I'm like that to the whole world.
Then COD.
Yeah. I get my VR out, and I've got like.
Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Well, thank you, Lindsay, for coming on and doing this. I really appreciate it.
We'll do it again, Baz, when there's more movement.
Oh, I want to be there if we're allowed to be there.
I would imagine so, because I think there's a few people that are planning on actually being at the court when it all comes about. So yeah, we'll find out. But hopefully it's going to be sometime this year. I would imagine. We're just waiting for a court date now, so I would imagine it'll be sometime this year that we see it properly get some movement.
I hope so. I really do.
Me too, because I've had enough.
I know, I bet you have. Lindsay, you should try yoga to calm the spirit.
Oh my God, I've tried, but my brain is just so noisy. It's so loud in my head. It's just not possible.
I've tried yoga. It hurts. My body's not for bending, unfortunately, these days. I love it. But yes, please keep me up to date with the court date. Hopefully I'll be off work, or I can get time off work, and I'll come up and support, and hopefully everybody else will do the same. And then we can have a good chat.
Definitely.
We do need to catch up. I'll have to let you know of a few things that are coming up when I'm coming up, which is very rare these days. Very rare I get home these days with the Balbinos upstairs asleep.
Oh, the little terrors.
Oh, doing my nut in the last 3 days.
That's what kids are for.
Exactly.
That's why I don't have any.
I know. Oh God, don't remind me. Remember what life was like without them.
Oh, I do, because I live every day that way. It's bliss. It's glorious.
Racers, good luck in the future, Tara, everyone.
Thank you,
Rules to disrespect is bad for some issues to this. He had millions of views. I don't know who he is, but I'm sure someone can let me know after the show. But thank you very much, Lindsay, as always. Guys, we are not back until Sunday night now, because we don't play till Tuesday night. So I'll speak to you all then. I've done 4 nights in a row, and now I'm knackered myself, and I need to. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay.
Good
and we'll
night,
see
everyone.
you all again very soon.
Bye.
Ta-da.